Howdy folks, Effing Controller here, back with more Uncharted Waters New Horizons. We're playing as Ali, and we rejoin here in the fine port of Nagasaki. And it is March 19th of 1526. I believe that the last episode ended in January of 1525, so it's a little bit over a year later in game time. And as a matter of fact, it's almost a year later in real time. I just stopped recording this after the previous episode, which was May of 2020. It is now March of 2021, and things just got a little bit busy and hectic in my life, and I wasn't really in the right frame of mind to keep working on this and have it be fun. And so I set it aside, I put it on the back burner, and instead of burning, it is now fresh and crispy and ready to be consumed. So there you go. So you might be wondering, other than making clumsy metaphors, what I'm up to in this playthrough. And I did say in the previous episode that we would be picking this up again once I could build a Takao-sen, and I figured, well, it takes a long time to build one of these, so I'm just gonna actually build it and then, do some trading and, get to a position where I'm ready to, show it off. But then I kind of got, I don't know, addicted to building these or something, because now I have 5 and I'm about to pick up my 6th. So those big boats with the square sails and the many oars, those are Takao-sens, and they do require full investment in Japanese ports in order to build, and they are pretty great. We'll take a look at them here, but I'll show you the names. I named this one Asanoyama, Mitakeumi, Tobizaru, Enho. Gary, that's a La Real, but this is Hakuho, the final Takao-sen, my flagship. And these are all named after Japanese sumo wrestlers. And that might strike you as weird, but you may or may not know that I'm actually a fan of sumo. I've been watching sumo pretty consistently, actually, since I finished my playthrough of Crusader Kings 2 when I discovered that there's a Georgian he wasn't Ozeki, Georgian Rikishi, I guess I should say, named Tochinoshin, and I got kind of hooked on the sport. It's a very fascinating, unusual sport, and I've really liked it over the past, actually, years now. So this is named after a current Ozeki, Asanoyama. Takeumi, I believe, is a Komosubi now. There's different ranks in sumo. I don't want to bore you with that shit, but you're not here for my sumo commentary, I guess. But these are just sumo wrestlers that I like watching. Tobizaru is a fairly new wrestler. Enho is he's currently in the 2nd division right now. He got busted down because he had a losing record. Oh man, I'm lapsing into sumo talk. Nobody cares. We're going to have more sumo talk here, though, because I have to pick up a ship that is, again, named after a sumo wrestler, and I didn't name any of the other ships after Tochinoshin because his name doesn't actually fit in the 10-character space that I have, so I went ahead and named it after him, but, I had to drop one of the letters, so I'm actually going to show you guys how we configure these, at least how I configure them. There's tons of ways to build one of these. I think that it really depends on what you intend on doing with it. Takao-sens are well suited for both trade and for combat. You can see that the maneuverability is 80, the sail power is 85. It has a base crew a standard crew of 300, room for 700 cargo. 100 cannon, that's a lot, and it has a steel hull, so it says 0 out of 72 there. That's not actually accurate. When you actually build it, you'll see it goes up. So I'm going to order this, and I'm going to haggle that down. As you can see, money is really no object to us. We have 2,853 ingots and 89 coins, so we have lots of money. I don't really need to worry about haggling too aggressively here. And I forgot who I was going to name this one after. I think I was going to name it after Takayasu, who's another sumo wrestler. But the one I just received is actually named after Tochinoshin. There we go. So now I have to configure it, and my configuration, I go with 60 crew. That's pretty low. I could even go lower than that, though, I've discovered. But 60 seems fine. I don't know if it makes that big of a difference. You can see that the hull has improved to 100. I make room for 0 guns, which you can see increases my cargo capacity by quite a bit. There's that little box that looks like a present off to the left there. So I have 1,040 cargo slots in it. And these take 72 days to build, so I'm not going to wait around for this. I have another one that's being built over in the port of Sakai, and if I happen to be in the neighborhood, I'll pick one up again, but I'm not really that keen on having a full fleet of these. I have other stuff I want to do. I want to advance the plot. I want to just move things along here. We've done a ton of trading, and I've made a lot of money, so I'm going to continue making a lot of money here. I have 5 Takausens full of delicious gold. That's the wrong one. Let's take a look. At least I think I do. Yep. So I'll show you kind of what I've been doing, again, for the past year and change in the game. And what I do is sell big shitloads of gold. And then I manipulate the market back up again. You know the story. I buy silver in lots of 50. And you can see that the price index is at 116. I haggle this down from 55 to 44. And I load up my ship just in lots of 50. So the price index will go from 116 to 118. And I have to do this a few more times just to bring it back to 125. We're gonna go through this together so that you know my pain. I am ready to move on from this whole process, though, because as you can see, this gets very tedious, and doing it for a year and change in the game, it just gets very boring. But this is the way that you make money in this. Like, this is the way that you game the game to make absolutely irresponsible amounts of money. So now you know my suffering. Now you know my strategy. Is it really a strategy if I hate doing it? I don't know. Because, I mean, this is a video game, right? And I'm supposed to be enjoying myself. Deep thoughts. But I am enjoying the fact that I'm making a lot of money, I guess. Now, I might not enjoy that fact later, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So there, that's up at 125. I don't know that I would necessarily get much more of a benefit going from 123 to 125, because I think that the price still caps at some point, even if you're not at 125. I think you'll still hit this max price of 1350. And you know what? Since I do have just such a preposterous amount of money, I'm just gonna breeze through this. So you can imagine doing this with several ships. Like, it gets tough. Okay. So there's the Tochinoshin. You could maybe see that on the bottom left there, or bottom right. It's not highlighted. There it is. So I had to omit the last I. So I'm going to continue doing this. I'm not going to make you watch all of this, because I have 3 more ships to do this on. We'll be departing the port when we pick things back up again, so I'll see you there. Alright, I finished trading, and I also have fully crewed the new ship that I got, so it's time to go. The harbor helper is telling me that Suleiman is looking for me, and that's exactly what I want to follow up on. I want to head out of Asia here and head back to Europe, but I have to make a few stops on the way. There's some stuff I want to pick up. Oh, I should resupply. That would be smart. Be a short trip. So I'm fully loading the new ship that I got with food and water. We'll see what that does for our provisioning. 33 days? Did I forget to load up a ship? That makes me wonder how long I could sail if I didn't have any trade goods on these. That's interesting. Silver. Oh, that only... Oh. Why did I do that? Well, I guess it's kind of too late now. And that's actually not that big of a deal, because I don't need to sell a bunch of silver anyways. It's fine. I am fascinated to know, though. 33 days is a long time. If I loaded all those up... I can't do that kind of math. I don't know how much time I get per unit of food, but whatever. We're stopping in Zaitan here. I think Oh, I don't need to be in here at 2 a.m. There's that special trick where if you show up at 2 a.m., you get access to special goods. Although 3 a.m. Oh, nope. No dice. I could go to the lodge. Let's go to the lodge real quick. We'll wake up tomorrow at 8 a.m. It's going to be a little bit of a long nap, but that's okay. Ah, the nap time theme. It's the cutest nap ever. So I'm here in Zaitan purely so that I can buy balm. There's only a few ports around the world that sell it, and this is one of them. And I'm completely out of balm, and it's made the trips through the Indian Ocean very tedious. What I've been doing is, sailing back and forth between Mombasa and Nagasaki, trading silver and gold, making stupid amounts of money. I'm gonna buy a few of these just so I have them on hand. Try to cruise through the Indian Ocean storm-free. Would really like to have some figureheads, but that's okay. Now that we're here, we might as well resupply. And off we go. I was thinking about spending money and just buying all of the best items I can in the game, like the best weapons and armor, just because I've got tons and tons of cash, but I don't know. Maybe I'll show that off in a different playthrough. For now, we are on our way to Mombasa, and this will give me an opportunity to show and tell you guys kind of how these Takausans sail. Of course, we have a mixed fleet of Takausans and La Reals, but you can see we're sailing into a headwind and making very good time. And for a big ship like this, that is phenomenal. The downside of the other big ships, like the full rigged and the barge and things like that, they have immense carrying capacity, but they are so slow if the wind is not favorable. So if you're doing short trips, they're a little bit more workable, but if you're intending on actually doing long distance sailing like this and you want to have decent cargo capacity, this is really your best bet. Yeah, Commodore, our crew was paid 280 gold in wages. Ugh. It's kind of shockingly low. Like, I have thousands of ingots at this point, but I'm still paying my crew 280. Well, that's how you make money. Alright. Storm time, hooray! I did spend a little money and I got this little ditty. The Magic Muramasa. I won't be wearing it though. I will be using some balm. And this might come in handy on the west coast of Africa too. The east coast is much nicer. I'm still undecided about whether or not like this was worth the effort. I certainly have made a ton of money, but I don't find that money is that hard to make in this game. And making a lot of it really is not that hard either. So I don't know. I don't know if I would say that these are really even worth the effort. They're certainly cool. They're unusual. They're kind of a neat Easter egg, but from from a gameplay standpoint, maybe not so necessary. And that's exactly it. Maybe it's, just kind of an unnecessary Easter eggy kind of a thing. And that's fine. That's a good thing. We're in Mombasa. And I'm gonna sell my silver. You'd think I've been here so much, you'd think I'd remember where all this crap is, but... So again, the purpose of using silver here is to drive the price down. We're still profiting off of our silver sales here, even though the price index is garbage. I'm whittling away at that price index, and it's gone. Oh, it's at 51, damn. I'm gonna do some cargo rearranging, and I'll rejoin you guys here in a little bit once I've bought a bunch of gold, and we'll pick things up when I'm about to leave. Alright, it's time to leave Mombasa. I have fully loaded 5 of my Takausens with gold, which I bought for 264 gold per gold. I was trying to think of how to phrase that, but I think that is the only way to describe that particular transaction. I don't know. I'm paying gold to buy gold. We've talked about this. It's complicated. Don't worry about it. Suleiman is still looking for me. What do you know? So I'm going to supply all. Is that right? There's no way that's right. He was trying to load me up with like 529. Yeah. I've got way more cargo space than that left. What's with that? Let me do supply all and see. Yeah, 529. That's completely wrong. Let's go back to supply and try that again. And it thinks... I beg your pardon? That's weird. There's some kind of math error there. I'm just gonna move on. It's lembas bread. Well, except we're still only able to... It's reverse lembas bread. It's Wonder Bread. I don't know. That's weird. You know, I think I noticed that earlier. I was like, that doesn't seem right for the amount of cargo space that we have, when I was doing my back and forth between the East African coast and Japan, but I don't know, man. That's odd. Well, you're stuck sailing with me for the duration here. We're going to be rounding the Cape of Good Hope here, heading back to Europe. I'm on the fence, and I'm still kind of debating with myself whether I should show you guys some of the other items that we can buy. I don't think I'm going to, because this is a trade-oriented playthrough. I'm going to try to resupply here and see if I can fully restock my ships, because that's weird. It's very strange. See, now that sounds more like it. And if I get 33 days, then I know that I beg your pardon? There's something weird happening here. I must not have... I gotta look and see what I got going on here. Maybe there was an issue earlier. I mean, 25 days is still respectable, but... Oh, that's right. The Asano Yama wasn't fully loaded. That's the trick. It wasn't fully loaded with silver. Well, that exciting puzzle has been solved. I think I'm gonna do what I typically do when I'm sailing between Asia and Europe this way. I could have gone to the north. Could have gone over the top of Russia, which, as convenient as it is impossible. There's no way that a fleet like this could do that, but I don't know, though. We've got steel hulls. Maybe we could do a little icebreaker action, you know? Have a fun group exercise to start. I did buy balm, so this is probably unnecessary, but... So I'm only making 16 knots. Well, I had a really good tailwind there for a while. So the Takausans are a little bit slower than the La Reals. Oh yeah, I'm really good and close to the West African coast here. I'm just gonna actually head north. There's no reason to go off the map. Well, onto the other side of the map, I should say. But you can see we're making really good time. I've only been yammering at you for a little under 5 minutes, and we're almost home, really. This beats the stink out of the time compression in Silent Hunter. And so we are out of the danger zone for storms, and I've only used 12 days of food. You know, maybe I was a little out of turn when I was kind of talking smack about the Takausans. That's pretty good. That's very good. Considering that I'm loaded with cargo, like that's impressive. But again, what at this point it doesn't matter. Like I've got so much money. I don't know, man. So I'm in Seville. You might be wondering why. Well, my plan is to just go here and moor some ships. Why? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna store the Asanoyama and dismiss the crew. That's fine. You might be thinking I should store the La Reals, but no. You're incorrect. And you might be wondering why I'm not doing this in Istanbul. The reason I'm not, I don't really have a, well, yeah, I do have a good reason not to. It's because I don't want to spoil things. I find that in general in this game, that when you store ships or when you have to go back to your home port, wherever that may be, whether it's Istanbul as Ali or London as Otto, that you run into a lot of storyline, and if you have something specific that you need to use the port for, sometimes that's not allowed. Sometimes you're not able to do that. And it just gets annoying. Oh, and the Hakuho is my flagship. I'm going to change my flagship to the Tochinoshin. So we have to take care of that first. Or I could just transfer the cargo onto the Tochinoshin. Let's just do that. That's not the right way to do it. I don't know what Tochinoshin actually means. Oh, you know what? It's easier to... God, you guys. It's easier to change captains and flagships. Tochinoshin means something like Chestnut Mountain or something like that. Sumo names are kind of inscrutable. They're very traditional, with some exceptions. For instance, Takayasu, that's just his last name. Fun facts. I was trying to not turn this into a sumo talk. I knew I would face the temptation if I named a ship after a sumo wrestler, but oh well. Alright, so that's how that's done. We're going to moor the last one. And note that you can only moor 5 ships per capital. You can't moor them in any other ports. You have to moor them in either Seville, Lisbon, London, Amsterdam, Genoa, or Istanbul. Genoa is not a great idea for me because as I can certainly do... I can certainly store a ship there, or 5, it doesn't matter. But the problem is that you'll notice that when I store my ships, I have to dismiss my crew. And in order to get crew, I have to go to the cafe. And Italy is typically hostile with the Ottoman Empire, and so I'm not really going to be able to go into the cafe very easily. And if I do, there's a chance I'll get mugged, and that's not fun. Now, with that said, it's entirely possible that Seville will be hostile towards me later on, but we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so now we've got all of our ships full of gold that are moored in Seville. I'm sure they'll be perfectly fine. 60 days. Good God. We have basically unlimited sailing. Wide open horizon. Pockets full of gold. And a heart full of song. Sailing, sailing. Alright, that's quite enough of that. We're gonna go back to Istanbul. We're gonna see what the Sultan wants. Maybe. We're in our home waters again. Feels nice. Bringing back a very exotic ship, no doubt. The citizens of Istanbul, and Seville for that matter, would be quite taken aback with our steel-hulled ships. Alright, we're in Istanbul. I'm going to check in with the Sultan, but I'm going to leave that for the next episode. I'll see you guys then.